You're going to have to tread carefully. Who knows? Would the Leowin boy marrying that common strumpet? The real nobility in this land could be squeezed out completely. I don't trust any of them. Least of all, Morag Cepheus.
We shall have to wait and see, my dear. After all, now the Count of Anvil's daughter has agreed to marry our son, Leowin's influence will diminish and ours will grow. Also, with Anvil's family ties to Skingrad, the West will become much more secure. Quintus's army sits on the border of Hammerfell as we speak and comes under Anvil's jurisdiction.
What of Cheydinhal in all this?
The Count of Cheydinhal doesn't like what's happening one little bit. He cannot imagine why Bruma would relent and sign the decree unless there's something more sinister going on. It's madness to sign. Bruma was perfectly within its right to remain a free city under Imperial law.
Why would the Countess change her mind now? All she had to do is buff Cepheus off. I would have sent Blackwell packing with an arrow up his arse and reached out to us in Cheydinhal.
She could have reached out to all the provinces. Cepheus would not have dared touch her. It makes you wonder of the reasons the Leowin boy took such an interest in her. To think we almost had it in the bag.
Well, my boy. I would never have thought you would have made such a proposal in front of everyone.
Father, when are you going to come to terms with the fact that I love Rigmor? Why is it such an issue?
I had hoped you would marry into nobility, and I don't want to disrespect your Rigmor. She's a great girl. But she's hard work, Bobby. You even said it yourself. She has constant mood swings. She's argumentative. She has baggage, boy, and would be an embarrassment. Look, she's not even a native of Cyrodiil.
That's where you're wrong, and I won't hear of it. She was born in Cyrodiil to respected parents.
You're just a young fool blinded by love. She's a Nordling, a barbarian. Just because a dog is born in a stable, it doesn't make it a horse. And your Rigmor is no thoroughbred. By marrying into imperial nobility, that would make something of you one day, my boy. It would command respect and give you an army to conquer new regions, territories, even provinces. Instead of counting icicles on that mountain with her guardian breathing down your neck, the county is worthless and full of Nords. Love doesn't create empires, boy. Those are made by blood and guts on your sword. Even though your intentions are sincere with this Rigmor, and marrying this girl might indeed help our cause to strengthen our position here in the province, slightly, you still have a lot to learn.
Lady Rigmor is going to be my wife, and I will hear no more of it.
Ah, Blackwell. Enter.
My lord, you summoned me.
You had better have something good for me, Blackwell. Who is he? And what is he doing here? More to the point, how did he manage to surface out of thin air and become such a problem?
Is my lady present? I'm sure she would like to hear.
She will be back shortly. She needed to visit her father. Please continue.
Little is known from the time he met the Countess. Apart from the New Order incursion into Skyrim, very little is noted or recorded in manuscript. A breakaway sect, native to Alinor, that tried to overthrow the Isle and invade Cyrodiil.
What did the New Order want with her?
She disappeared for years until she resurfaced at the Battle of Whiterun. She was linked to a Khajiit emissary who frequented the Imperial Court and had the ear of the Council of Elders. It was all kept very quiet, a matter for the Council and heads of state. I was not privy to these proceedings, and instead I was asked to take care of the affairs of the province, a job I continued to do after the disappearance of the Emperor until...
Please go on, Lord Chancellor.
After the New Order were crushed, the Thalmor made good their time in Cyrodiil, erasing all evidence. After the events, Titus Mede II bestowed upon the girl the noble title of Bruma County. As for her and her guardian, the two parted ways, and shortly after the Emperor disappeared. That's all we know. After the Thalmor were expelled when the nobility signed the recent White Gold Agreement, my attempts to recover any information led nowhere. The trail went cold.
I don't like it, Blackwell. She was only meant to sign the document. Do you think she's complicit in a possible plot with Leowyn?
The balance of power here in Cyrodiil is constantly changing. At first, it was prudent to have friends loyal to you, such as Leowyn, to hold the upper hand among the counties. Your position relies on fealty, and although there is no evidence of subterfuge, there is a rivalry between them, and it has now become so very obvious. The announcement of the marriage between Bruma and Leowyn has only added to the suspicions of their rivals.
I can understand that, but the Countess of Bruma... Why would an emperor bestow such a noble title on a wretched Nord girl? Why would he do that? What is so special about her?
I'll tell you why she is so special. So special to have at her side the most dangerous killer in all of Tamriel. Of course, it is now all so obvious. It all fits in. The ripples in the fabric of the void. How she hid her truths. She has been hiding it for years, afraid for her very life. Cursed by her blood from the day she was born. A product of a liaison that produced a royal bastard. Her veins coursing with the royal blood of the dynasty we usurped. And her guardian, a half-beast dragon slayer, champion of Boethia and defeater of Alduin. She is a pretender by default. And I want her. And I want them both, Lord Chancellor.
We would need evidence before we could touch her. A confession, or someone to testify.
I'll make the girl confess, even if I have to do it myself. And as for her guardian... Aren't you meant to be protecting your beloved Rigmor, Dragonborn?
Halt! I implore you to hold your weapons, or the Lady Rigmor will be summarily executed. The Countess of Bruma is charged with treason, and will stand trial at the nearest opportunity. She will be taken to the Imperial City Prison to await the arrival of her attorney. No harm will befall her. As long as you comply with the law, you are to remain here under house arrest for the time being until further notice.
It's okay, Dragonborn. I'm kinda glad it ends this way. I feel kinda relieved, in a way. Have Malazam take care of my things for me. And whatever happens at the trial, don't screw it up, okay? I might not get another chance to speak to you in person again, even during the trial. And I know we talked about all this before, but if I don't make it, please don't blame yourself. I just want you to know that you're the best thing that ever happened in my life, and that I love you with all my heart. Goodbye, Dragonborn.
You made a very serious misjudgment coming here. I know it's no consolation, but no one knew about her ties to the Mead dynasty. It was a complete surprise. Suffice to say, she kept her secret well. Please, sit. Actually, I came to ask the same thing. Why would the Countess come down from the mountain and pledge her support? She was protected under international law. However much the Emperor demanded it, she was well within her rights to ignore his demands. Unless... yes. She thought we knew, didn't she? Of course. And I bet you prepared for this very situation in advance. But pray tell me, what of the Leowin boy? Where does he fit into all of this? Was she involved in a plot? I believe you. I must admit, though you had me fooled. I thought this was all about the struggle for power between the noble houses, and the joining of the houses of Bruma and Leowin was part of the plan. But it wasn't, was it? Sir Robert's proposal, for whatever reason, was seen as a way out. The Countess was prepared to make that sacrifice to live in peace. I can understand why she made that decision. With what she knew about herself, she must have felt very scared, even desperate. The trial will take place tomorrow. I've already sent word to her court advisor. He will arrive in the morning. They will need evidence to find a verdict, or they will have to let her go. She will be interrogated and offered a chance to confess in return for her freedom. But she will have to give up her titles and leave the province. I do hope she has some resolve, as confessing won't help her, not now. Whether she be acquitted, banished, or exiled, they will hunt her down, and they will be relentless. I have my reasons for telling you this. You see, I'm rather fond of the Countess. But my loyalty is to the seat of the Imperial throne, not who occupies it. You must know that I will pursue the bidding of the Emperor, no matter who, no matter my personal opinion or thoughts to the letter of the law, and execute any orders I see fit to protect and serve with absolute, unwavering ruthlessness. It isn't personal, but it's vitally important we understand each other. Good. I'm glad you understand, because if you listened carefully, if you paid attention, what then, Dragonborn? I'm also here to escort you to the Imperial Chamber. Lady Cetheus requires an audience. You will be able to talk freely to her, with impunity. Please, come this way. Ahem. Guardian and protector to the Countess of Bruma, my lady.
Leave us. Come forward, Guardian. Or should I say... Dragonborn. I summoned you here because I wanted to see you up close, in the flesh, to look upon your face. Please do not tell me you are just like the rest of them, play acting the good, high and mighty champion of the poor, downtrodden. Good does not always mean right, but you of all people should know that, if you call yourself a person. What are you, a half-breed or half-beast? You're a product of your environment, nothing more, nothing less. You are what you are. A cold, instinctive killer who would take more notice of a pain in your little finger than the destruction of a whole entire nation. We are one and the same, you and I. Don't make me laugh. You are the epitome of hypocrisy. How many dragons have you slain to become what you are now? How many of their souls have you violated and sucked into your essence to attain your power? Far more than I. A soul is a soul, Dragon Slayer. It matters not from whom you take it, but the very act itself. How many men, women, and children have you slaughtered without a blink of an eye? Or a remorseful back glance at some poor wretch you left lying in the snow in a pool of their own blood? Yet you are already judge, jury, and executioner because of some entitled moral high ground. You killed my children, Dragon Slayer. My brood. Did they not have a right to live? to grow and to multiply. Yet you took it upon yourself to execute them all, not content having saved your ward. And with true righteous bigotry, you delivered the sentence of death where you had no legal right, leaving them lying in their own bloody fucking mess! I like you. It's such a pity we're on opposite sides. I would make you my emperor and discard that weak fool. He has already outlived his purpose, if you can call it that. Is the Black Widow wrong to devour its mate the instant it's copulated? It is within the nature of the beast. The endless cycle of life and death, play to a backdrop of a world that could care less. Surrounded by a cold, harsh void that is eternally trying to strangle and crush the very life from a world it considers an intruder. A blemish to be expunged from its cold, eternal darkness. I piss on treason. I could crush Blackwell's skull like a chicken's egg. Do you know who I am? Come now. I know all there is to know about you. It would only be fair to extend the same courtesy. Anything spoken between us will remain exactly that. Blackwell has no jurisdiction here. Let's be civilized. If entities like us can indeed be considered that, there's so much I would like to talk about. Before I married the Emperor, I was called Morag Ball. I am a daughter of Cold Harbor, but you know that. That's boring. You want to know why I am here in this ancient seat of lost elven kings? I'm afraid there's no real reason. No divine subterfuge, and certainly no sacrifice to be made so a spurned monster can fulfill its dream to become a living god king. No, none of that. Sorry to disappoint. No, I exist only to play the game, to divide and conquer, to sow the seeds of discord. Sethius is just one of many in a long line of pathetic hosts that has led me to this palace. Oh, how we would make such a perfect couple, you and I. Just imagine for one moment, Dragonborn, a daughter of Cold Harbor, empress of all of Tamriel, no, all of Nirn, with the champion of Boethia by her side. We would fulfill the Elysian prophecy, and I would be the queen of a golden age, and you would be my king. Father would be very proud of me. And I would even give you the daughter of Azura to do with her as you will. I would even make her a duchess to preside over all the counties of Cyrodiil if you wish it. Keep her, let her go, marry her off to Bobby. Or we could adopt her and she could be our princess. We would never age, we would never tire, and preside over Nirn for a millennia. I understand. I really do. Rigmor is your only concern at this moment. And I must commend both you and her betrothed who unwittingly placed her in a prison cell. With your ham-fisted attempt at courtly subterfuge, it was most laughable. Not forgetting the excellent job you did of guarding and protecting her from exposing her secret, because I would never have guessed otherwise. But of course, Daddy did help me out a little bit, and is such a wealth of information at times like this. But I don't want to keep you from... Well, actually, I'm not keeping you from anything, am I? But you must be tired and could use some sleep if you want to be fresh for the trial tomorrow. I am sure you must be looking forward to that, because I am so excited. Which reminds me, I promised Rigmor I would pop in for a friendly chat. I hope you don't mind. After all, she is the reason we are standing here at all. Come again? Reason for what? Guards! Guards! Escort the Guardian back to his room. The only way out is to play the game, Dragon Slayer. Get it right, and you both go home.
Guardian General.
We're sorry, sir, but you must return to your room. This way, sir.
I'm Anus, and this is Crispus. We were with you in Whiterun, Quintus Legion. Got sent home as I got myself wounded, General. Heavy fighting on the border. I took an arrow.
Took an arrow in his arse, more like.
Sod off, Crispus. You're just jealous of my medal.
Stick it a year, and they give you a bloody medal.
Crispus is a bit salty we got lumbered with punishment detail.
We're meant to be on temporary leave from Hammerfell for rest and refit. But Aenas got us sent here for drunkenness.
We went down the market district after drinking some of that old special brew Tessio keeps under the table. Ended up in a fight with some Swedes. You know, civilians.
Luckily, we only got given menial tasks, due to them bolstering the guard in the prison district.
They're shitting their pants. Something's got them rattled.
Don't worry, sir. Aenas and I consider ourselves veterans.
Yeah, we're the real Legion, not this jumped-up new lot.
Here we are, sir. We bid you farewell.
Was an honour, General. What about that? The Guardian bleeding General.
Yeah, I wonder what he's doing here.
Dunno.
Remember the giant camp?
What giant camp?
Some of the boys came across a giant camp. You must have been taking a shit behind the bush.
So,
how is our noble guardian this fine morning?
Well met.
Ah. Zephyr volunteered to go. I'm far too old and decrepit, but Rigmor needs me. Zephyr also asked me to pass on Azura's blessings. I'm here to defend Rigmor. The trial will begin soon. However, the Lord Chancellor has requested we meet in the Temple Gardens. Good if you're discussing state affairs and freedom of information, in this case, preparation for the trial. Bad if the information you tell him is detrimental to the Emperor's continued reign. So, watch what you say.
Well met. They won't let us see her, not until after the trial.
Come, let's get the ball rolling, shall we?
Well met.
Well met, Lord Chancellor.
Court Advisor Malasam. Guardian. Gentlemen, please, let us walk. probably know or don't know, the Emperor's coronation has been postponed to make way for the trial. It will begin shortly, where charges will be read out and the prosecution will make its case. Sitting on the jury will be the 6 houses of Cyrodiil. A prerequisite is the defendant is of noble status. All the parties have been advised, but one thing you can be assured of. It will be fair.
Well met.
It's the law. I will be presiding over the proceedings and will advise the Emperor, who has the last say. Court Advisor Malisam will plead the case for the defense. Morag Cetheus will be prosecuting on behalf of the Emperor. I know what you're thinking, Dragonborn. I advise you to refrain from saying it.
The Count will hear statements from the prosecution and defense. Then the defendant, Rigmor, will be questioned. The court will deliberate, then finally Rigmor will have a chance to make a statement. She might want to have her say, or make confessions, or say nothing at all.